Season 7 of Elite has just aired on Netflix, and it's safe to say that only a few people were excited to tune in. In fact, the show lost 40% of its viewers compared to previous seasons, meaning it's seriously gone downhill. And looking back at past seasons, it's very clear that the show's creators and writers are entirely to blame for this decline. Netflix has just announced that the 8th season of Elite will be the last of the series, and it almost calls for celebration. The show started off as a complete hit, and the fan base only grew as the first 4 seasons rolled out. However, as with most shows, viewers started to seriously lose interest as it went on, but Elite's decline might just be one of the most impressive downfalls in TV series history. To lose 40% of viewers is a far cry from the impressive audience score the show gathered in its prime, and the numbers are almost too hard to believe considering people thought it couldn't get worse than Season 6. However, Season 7 topped that and became the actual worst season. After all, it only received a 56% audience score. Things already started going from bad to horrible when Seasons 5 and 6 aired, which is why it's no surprise that Season 7 managed to do even worse. The 7th season has been watched for only 21.1 million hours worldwide in its first week, which puts it at number 6 for most viewed shows in non-English speaking languages at the moment. It's hard to imagine that this is the same show that managed to enter the top 3 worldwide on Netflix, and who often took the first place for non-English speaking TV shows. However, it looks like only 3 million people tuned in for the show this time around. Although it sounds like a big number, it's pretty much nothing compared to the way it used to be, as it basically ruled Netflix at one point. It's clear the show was expecting some pretty different numbers as well, especially since the series made such a big deal of bringing back Omar Ayuso, who was a fan favorite in past seasons. In fact, the creator of the show, Carlos Montero, seems saddened to confirm that the show will not be continuing past season 8. When the cancellation was posted to Twitter, Carlos commented on the news, saying that it was a mutual decision between him and Netflix, a necessary one at that. The decision was supposedly made after the tragic decline of the 6th season, as it was pretty clear Elite would never be able to get back to its glory days. Carlos was able to reassure remaining fans that the show would end on a high note, even if he felt great regret about having to end it. He said, "I say this with great regret because it's been several incredible years in which I've met wonderful actors. We've worked with all the directors we wanted to work with, and we've had the luxury of having Maribel these last 2 seasons." He also added that one of the best things about the show was how he was able to change some of the cast members' lives, since they were able to use the show to fulfill their dreams on a global scale. It's something he takes great pride in, and it also attests to the power the show once had that it's long lost now. When Elite first premiered, it did seem like a promising show, and it deserved every bit of praise. Even the actors were seen as stars with a lot of potential. The show pulled in very impressive numbers until around season 5. However, some fans were left saddened already after season 4, as they felt the writing had greatly suffered. But despite the decline, fans gave the show another shot, and the 5th season managed to gather 51.4 million hours in the first week and rose even higher in its second and third weeks. Looking back at the numbers, it took 4 weeks to see similar numbers to what season 7 has been dealing with, which really shows how bad the downfall is. When the 6th season rolled around, it was simply a disaster, as it failed to live up to previous seasons. That season was criticized for losing a lot of the core elements that the show had in past seasons. As fans often point out, Elite has had a touch of fantasy to it that viewers often desire, since it still manages to reflect reality, which is why the heavier themes of season 6 felt like too much for the fans who had been waiting for more of the fun drama that the show was known for. It seems like the writers were aiming to reach that whimsicality that the show had before, but instead tragically overshot into the ridiculous category, which ended up getting seriously lost in the plot. Not only did it feel rushed, but the involvement of the new characters also didn't help the audience, as they didn't really feel like a part of the old show. It's what made it very hard for viewers to connect with them, especially since the use of another overdone mystery didn't bring any excitement. Another huge criticism from fans is that the show has taken an unnecessary turn when it comes to mature, inappropriate themes. It almost seems like it's all we get to see in newer seasons, and it takes away from the story in a lot of ways, considering the screen time could have been used for something better. It's a huge reason lots of viewers seem to give up on the show, as it genuinely became too much for people to sit through and just watch people constantly do it on camera. While the show tried to follow some of the same recipes for drama from past seasons, it didn't do well enough to get viewers to care about the new characters, which is why none of the drama ever felt serious enough. and the unnecessary inappropriate scenes only add to the disappointment, making it very hard to sit through the episodes. It started feeling like the show was trying to figure out how to make things as shocking as possible instead of trying to make it engaging and realistic, which wasn't the right move. Season 6 is also when the school setting started to feel seriously watered down. In the past, it was exciting to see the students have actual school issues, and it made everything feel more realistic compared to other teen shows where school quickly became a simple backdrop. So it was seriously disappointing to watch the show fall into the same trap that other shows are known for, and it's no doubt what put a lot of fans off from wanting to continue watching. And one of the more questionable things is the return of Omar. While it's a great move from the show's side in an attempt to bring back some of its loyal viewers, it makes absolutely no sense for his character. Omar managed to make it out alive and even left Las Encinas after season 5, following a lot of trauma, so seeing him come back for season 7 was extremely hard to witness. While it's great to see him again, we can't overlook the fact that he's clearly miserable to be back, and the show makes it very clear that he has a lot of inner struggle when it comes to this decision. It also seems like pretty bad writing to bring him back and put him through even more trauma when he had escaped, which makes it very obvious that this was only done as a sort of fan service in order to bring back viewers. It felt like the show was losing the plot as it was trying to pile trauma on top of trauma just for some added shock factor. Even the writers started to realize it was becoming a problem, which is presumably why Omar was brought back in an attempt to return to its roots. While Omar's storyline isn't seen as the most exciting thing of the season, it definitely helps with the familiarity of the show, and it could potentially serve to give viewers hope for what's to come in season 8. However, after the true decline that was season 6, it's hard to imagine it getting worse, which is why fans might be able to look forward to a semi-decent last season. Along with Omar's return, it also looks like another original cast member, Mina El Hamani, will return to the show as Nadia Shana in order to get things back on track. We last saw her back in season 4, which means some old fans might want to return to the show to see what she's been up to all this time. While it does feel like just another desperate incentive to get older fans to tune in once again, it could also be a smart storytelling move since these old characters have every right to return to the screen and continue their stories. Hopefully, this could also bring back some of the show's magic that's been missing lately. It's also important to remember that the show's creator, Carlos, confirmed that things would end on a high note, which means there are a lot of loose ends left to tie up in order to give everyone the happy ending they deserve. It seems like a lot to do in one season, but the writers might just be up for the challenge, seeing as fans, this is the show's last hurrah after so many years and troubles. Share your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.